Hello, my lovely rose garden, and welcome back to Throne of Ass. We fixed our volume limiter.
And we threw that ass.
We threw that ass. All right. Chapter 29 looks like another short one, and I'm just previewing quickly, and I'm seeing a lot of tildes. So,
tildy, 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 tildy,
another
tildy, tildy,
filler
tildy.
episode is what I'm predicting.
Oh no! Another chapter that she wrote after the Wattpad publication
Or Fictionpress.
or
What,
Fiction
it does
Press or
same
whatever
thing.
the fuck.
Same. Fictionpress might actually be, like, less reputable than Wattpad, because at least Wattpad's main conceit was, oh, publishers will look at this and see how popular your story is, and maybe it'll be a real book with a movie deal. And then they were, but a finger curled on the monkey's paw. And the rest of us had to live with so many Harry Styles fan fictions being made into movies.
See, like, okay, maybe it's because I'm someone who was kind of into fan fiction at the tail end of the Anne Rice thing, but I'm just over here like, you're going out of your way to get your fan fiction published and get money for it and stuff like that. Oh, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think you should be getting money for your fan fiction. Stares at the lawyers.
I mean, the original conceit of Wattpad was that it was something more like Fictionpress, where you would post your original work on it.
But it's not. It's RPF fiction.
Yeah. See, they weren't aware of what kind of freaks we are on the internet.
I'm just like, no one's, especially like 13-year-olds, a lot of them don't, like, I'm speaking in general terms here. We're built different, but a lot of 13-year-olds don't have the patience to come up with their whole original world wholesale without, like, stealing stuff from their favorite shows or movies or book series. Like, don't publish things written by a 13-year-old on Wattpad or Fictionpress, please, for the love of God.
I mean, and I'm not against, lifting some aspects
Yeah.
and taking inspiration from things,
Well, yeah,
but if it's literally just a fan fiction with the name swapped. But let's be fair, the 13-year-olds are not the only ones guilty of that. Looks at fucking E.L. James. Like,
Yeah,
I
like,
forgot her name for a hot second.
well, I'm saying 13-year-olds because generally on Wattpad, I know at least it caters to a younger audience than say AO3 or even fanfiction.net in some cases. I know that it like caters to a younger audience and straight up does not allow R18 stuff.
Well, it does now.
Oh, well, it didn't. Is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I don't know the drama around Wattpad. But yeah.
Like, I'm dating myself here. I know slightly more about Wattpad than I care to, simply because my family was always very aware that I wanted to be a writer. So when Wattpad, like, first came up, like, when it was created, I had so many family members messaging me about it and telling me to post my stories there so that it might get picked up by a trad pub.
Oh,
Because
man.
Wattpad was created as
Yeah.
a joint project between, I forgot what publisher it was, but it was created, like, for this publisher to basically look for talent
Yeah.
and see what was already getting the readership and the views and capitalize on that so that it would be just easier to get a couple cash cows published. And so
Yeah.
they were looking specifically for, okay, what is popular, and they did not advertise it as like a fan fiction site, but of course that's what it ended up becoming.
Yeah.
And it became very popular with young people because, let's be real, young people are the ones who are going to buy into the, oh, if I publish my story on this website and it gets really popular, then I'm going to be a real author TM. And yeah, but I would have to go into like a whole thing with Wattpad, and maybe someday I will.
Yeah.
I would have to do more research, but I have heard things from people on Wattpad that some of the publishing contracts that are offered
Oh,
are...
I'm sure they're predatory as hell.
Oh yeah, like, because again, it's built to target
it's
younger writers.
It's basically something of a vanity publisher. I'm led to believe, at least.
Yeah. So anyway, tangent, because it's going to be a short chapter.
Yeah. But yeah, I went from fanfiction.net immediately to AO3. So like I missed this whole like Fictionpress and Wattpad and well, I was on LiveJournal for a little while in between because I was just all like, fuck you, fanfiction.net, you're the worst. I'm gonna go to LiveJournal. Surely this will remain forever.
Surely they will not purge. One day we'll go through like the fandom history, because we've been around for a lot of it, and I was not active in fandom until I was a little bit older. Hi, Winnie. Thanks for announcing your presence. Don't shit, please.
I feel like hi, Winnie.
Hi, Winnie.
I feel like I've been quietly just kind of observing fandom history for a long time. Like, I was reading fan fictions when I was still in elementary school. Fan fictions that I probably shouldn't have been reading.
Fan fictions I definitely shouldn't have been reading.
But nonetheless, and I was there for many a not safe for work purge of fanfiction.net and all that's good, horrible stuff.
Yeah.
And the fanfiction archive sites.
And just the straight up unaffiliated, like, this is not a fanfiction website, this is just someone's fucking Angel Fire that they post their fic on.
I had a bunch of those sites bookmarked on my parents' old PC.
I think there's one or two that I still remember the names of that I think I have still been able to access in the year 2024.
I honestly wish I could track down like one of the Inuyasha fan sites that I visited probably every day, because it had like a background MIDI player and it had like 4 songs on it that would loop, and I would just put that on and do my homework listening to the MIDI loop and occasionally looking at Inuyasha pictures.
Good times, man. Good times. All right, now to the bad times. So
You built me up and then you're gonna just knock me down.
That's what I do here. So I was dared, in quotations, by one of our supporters on the Rose Garden Discord server, which you can get access to for like $1 a month on Patreon or Ko-fi. So hit up either of those. They're great platforms to support us on. If you're not really into that, you're not huge on Discord, you can also support us by just buying our books. They're available anywhere you can get books online, and there's a couple links to the most popular retailers in the description. So if you want to read a good book, and you know that that's saying something because I have the self-esteem of a hermit crab, but if you want to read a good book, I still say they're good, check out those links. Anyway, so this supporter dared me to go on the TV Tropes page for Throne of Glass.
No.
And see, I feel like a lot of Throne of Glass, like... Oh, the publication date on this is all wrong, by the way. I forgot to update the publication date on the image. I'll have to fix that in the next episode. Because this was not published in 2023. But I feel like after the 2010s, like mid-2010s on, TV Tropes kind of fell out of popularity. And I could be wrong on that. That could just be my perception. But the TV Tropes was, for a 7-book series, not very expansive. There just wasn't a lot going on in it.
Tragic.
Like, most of it seemed to center on the first 2 books. And there was a couple of updates, like, on the 3rd and 4th book, mostly.
Also, generally, the TV Tropes, like, it tends to focus way more on TV and movies.
Yeah, but like...
So, like, a lot of the literature pages are a bit more scant.
Yeah.
Unless it's something, big, or something that has been, turned into a movie, or what have you.
But yeah, so... just providing the context that I now have a couple of spoilers.
Oh, fun.
If not for the whole series, because like I said, the any entries on the later books were very sparse. There was mostly just focus on
this
one, and whatever the next one is. Heir of Fire is the third one. I think Queen of Shadows is 4. I don't remember what the second. Crown of Midnight? I don't know.
I just know the last book has like a really crazy piss yellow color.
Yeah, it's not great.
Cover to it.
Kingdom of Ash, I don't know.
Kingdom of Ass!
And then I saw, like, people talking online where they're like, you have to read Assassin's Blade, which is, like, the novella that goes with it that's set before. But, like, if I recall correctly, it didn't get published until after Throne of Glass. So it's like, oh, no, you need this information, but it doesn't come out. They Kingdom Hearts it.
Yeah.
They fucking Kingdom Hearts it. And I love Kingdom Hearts, but goddamn.
Don't do that.
So
we don't Kingdom Hearts books.
So anyway, at 11 minutes into this video, let's finally start the chapter. Chapter 29. At their test the next afternoon, so we're just skipping right to the test, Alysicles stood in the training hall with her arms crossed, watching Kane spar with Grave. Kane knew who she was. All of her simpering and pretending and holding back had been for nothing. It had amused him. She clenched her jaw as Kane and Grave flew across the sparring ring, swords clanging. The test was fairly simple. They were each given a sparring partner, and if they won their duel, they needn't worry about being eliminated. The losers, however, would face judgment by Brullo. Whoever had performed the worst would be sent packing. Okay, very straightforward challenge.
Yeah, kind of boring, admittedly. Like,
I feel like this probably should have been, like, the first couple rounds of challenges.
Yeah, like, I feel like...
And then you get the crazy shit later.
Yeah, like scaling the castle and whatnot. Like, I feel like scaling the castle honestly should have been way later, because at that point, like, they kind of want only the people that are too far in to, like, think of escaping at this point.
Yeah, like people who have a reasonable shot at winning.
Yeah.
And also, it would just be way more brutal, because then you'd probably, in a competently written book, have some familiarity with everyone who's left, and maybe some emotional attachment, so if they're falling off the castle and dying, you give a shit.
Yeah, like
this... And then it would have meant more if Selena had, you know, kind of fucked her chance of winning to save Nox, because she's further along in the contest, and that actually matters now.
Yeah. Like, this whole, you know, sparring match, it's very, like, the first round of the shonen tournament arc.
Yeah, you don't pull out your crazy stunts yet. Like, the archery and this should have been, like, the first couple of ones. Like, the archery one coming first, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And then this.
This should have been, like, either before or after that. Like, they should have been right in tandem with each other. And this is really what I think outlining is good for.
Yeah.
I'm not... Like, I personally like to outline. I think it's just a fun exercise to do before I sit down to draft something. I don't bang on about... I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you have to have an outline. But I think that this is one of the things that outlining is good for, because you kind of get that broad overview of the story and like, oh, yeah, I should probably move this kind of a challenge to earlier because it's not as exciting. And it's kind of just the preliminary elimination round.
Yeah.
Where we're not expecting anyone to die during the sparring match, but it could still happen.
Well, and just generally, like, this is the kind of challenge that if you're writing a tournament arc, which this whole book is just a tournament arc,
supposed to be,
the mass elimination event, aka where people are fighting one-on-one with each other, which usually they changed it in this where it's all like, oh, Brullo will just decide who sucks the most, which I don't know how you're supposed to out and out decide that, but okay. Usually it's, you know, whoever loses doesn't move on, and you cut the roster in half. And that's like the main elimination event, and that's why it's so early, so that you're stuck with only the characters that you should give a shit about.
Yeah. So it's like, here, we have a large cast so that it gives some sense of realism to the contest.
Yeah, some realism and some grandeur. Like, oh, okay, so a lot of people want to win this. And then, yeah, you have your mass elimination event. And then you're cut down to, okay, these are the people that you actually want to pay attention to.
Yeah. These are the dozen or so characters that we're actually going to give a little bit of more context to, and then out of those 12, maybe 6 of them you actually have like fully developed backstories for.
Yeah.
That a couple of them are going to be antagonistic, a couple of them will be allies.
But like, you have to do this before you start killing them off. You gotta kill off characters that we give a crap about. Because thus far we have got what, 2, 3? I don't remember. People who died who
we didn't even like see.
We don't care about, and so like this is why you gotta organize things.
And like they took out the serial killers first.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that would have been. If you want this to be a murder mystery, keep the serial killers around, because then you're like, well, it could be any of these guys. Like, the eye eater guy sounds like he'd probably be down to snack on a few other organs. Like,
yeah. But of course, no, like, this stinks of a lack of planning.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who's like a borderline pantser. Like, I make general skeletons for whenever I write something, and then just develop as I go along. But
I'm more of a plotter, because I like to have, like, I do my initial outline and then I kind of take a break for a couple days and then come back to it and think, okay, does it make sense that the events are happening in this order, or do I need to move the events around a little bit? And then once I actually start drafting out the book, it's more, oh, I had this planned, but the character decided we're going to do it this way, so let's revisit the outline and see what needs to change.
Yeah, like, I come up with a skeleton of, like, plot points I need to hit. And then it's all like, how are we getting there, guys?
And then you set up the little flags around the relay race area, and then you just kind of let your blorbos run free.
Exactly.
I have a fence around mine, and I'm like, okay, blorbos, stay within the fence.
And then Michael hops the fence and
one of them
it for the hills.
One of them jumps the fence, and I got to be like, all right, well, let's follow you. Michael was not one of my fence hoppers, though. Like, Alice was probably the easiest one that stuck to the outline because of just the nature of it.
Yeah.
And the more episodic kind of way the chapters worked out, since it was deriving so much from Alice in Wonderland, which is a very episodic
I just say that because he's just your troublemaker.
No, I fucking hate his ass, but he follows the rules. No, I think that Stellar Eclipse is usually the one where I have characters hopping the fence the most. Llewellyn, in particular, likes to hop the fence.
He's like, no, I don't want to do that.
He's like, but what if I did this instead? And I'm like, damn, that's a good plot point. All right, let's start digging out the stakes and rerouting the fence. All right, back to this fucking thing. God damn. Like,
we want to escape so hard.
I'm trying to make these videos something of value to writers that are listening in, and give some insight into my own writing process, because you would think I would talk about my writing process so much more on my fucking AuthorTube channel, but I don't, and I don't know why that is.
Because
it's hard. It's hard to talk about your own shit.
Like, a lot of BookTube is complaining about other people's writing, though.
Yeah, like, and this is one of those, new tangent, this is one of those things that I don't understand, because people so often will comment on channels like With Cindy or Reads with Rachel, like, do you like any books? Why do you always talk about the books you hate? Because you watch the videos.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm doing this?
Listen, it's because no one likes to hear a good review. They want to hear bitching and moaning.
Or like if you are gonna listen to a good review, like it's gotta have some kind of in-depth analysis, like the Sin Squad's channel and like the Lego Batman video. Like, that's a good review of that movie, but it also delves into other topics like the queer coding of the Joker villain.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be like, oh, this movie is so good for these reasons, because there's only so many ways that you can say this is good.
Basically,
there's so many more entertaining ways that you can say this is bad.
Basically, unless you're going to commit to like a 3-hour video, most people just want to listen to bitching. And I know I'm a part of the problem. My entire like reason for going on YouTube after work is all like, I want to hear about drama that doesn't affect me. And I just want to hear I just want to hear someone yelling about something because it's fun.
It's cathartic entertainment. Like, look in my channel on any of the videos, any of my book reviews that are for a book that I really, really loved versus Throne of Ass or a rant review about a book I didn't like. It's almost always like twice the amount of views on books that I didn't like that much.
Whether you love them or hate them, we all grew up with the nostalgia critic.
Or angry video game nerd.
Or yeah, any of them. We like to hear anger because it's cathartic, and we want to listen to someone tearing down something that we also don't like, so we feel justified.
Yeah, it's just your disgust response seeking validation, and also because it's funny.
It's funny.
It's fun to rip into this book. If I'm reading something that I enjoy, it's just a straight audiobook. Like, somewhere in the back annals of this channel is me reading the first 2 chapters of The Lightning Thief with like full sound effects and everything. No one fucking watched that video.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so, here we are. Back to it. It's been 20 minutes and I've read like 1 paragraph.
Let's go.
To his credit, Grave held up well against Kane, even though she saw how his knees trembled from the effort. Knox, standing beside her, hissed as Kane shoved into Grave and sent him staggering back. Kane smiled throughout the entire thing, barely panting. Alysicles clenched her hands into fists, pushing them hard against her ribs. In a flash of steel, Kane had his blade at Grave's throat, and the pockmarked assassin bared his rotting teeth at him. "Excellent, Kane," Brulot said, clapping. Alysicles struggled to control her breathing. "Look out, Kane," Varen said from beside her. The curly-haired thief grinned at her. She hadn't been thrilled when it had been announced she was to spar against Varen, but at least it wasn't Knox. "Little lady wants a piece of you." "Watch yourself, Varen." Oh, sorry. I forgot Knox is bandit. "Watch yourself, mate," Knox warned, his gray eyes burning. "I'm sorry, Australians." "What?" Varen said. Now the other champions and everyone else were turning to them. Pelor, who had been lingering nearby, retreated a few steps. Smart move. "Defending her, are you?" Varen taunted. "Is that the bargain? She opens her legs and you keep an eye on her during practice?" "Shut your mouth, you damn pig!" Alysicles snapped. Kaol and Dorian pushed off from where they both leaned against the wall, coming closer to the ring. "Or what?" Varen said, nearing her. Knox stiffened, his hand drifting to his sword, but Alysicles refused to back down. "Or I'll rip out your tongue!" "That's enough," Brulot barked. "Take it out in the ring. Varen, Lillian, now." Really, really great decision to witness this happen and then just be like, all right, go fight it out.
Why not? They're a bunch of prisoners. He's just all like,
but also, fucking kill him.
Kill him.
Varen gave her a snake-like smile, and Kane clapped him on the back as he entered the chalk-etched circle, drawing his sword. Knox put a hand on her shoulder, and out of the corner of her eye she spied Kaol and Dorian watching them closely. She ignored them. It was enough. Enough of the pretending and the meekness. Enough of Kane. I mean, arguably, if this tournament is supposed to be wrapping up in December, and it's like November now, it is kind of time to stop playing in the middle and, like, start showing off.
Yeah.
Kill this guy. Varen raised his sword, shaking his blonde curls out of his eyes. Let's see what you've got. I don't know what that accent was.
It sounds vaguely British.
Vaguely British. She stalked toward him, keeping her sword sheathed at her side. Varen's grin widened as he lifted his blade. He swung, but Alcestis struck, ramming her fist into his arm, sending the blade soaring through the air. In the same breath, her palm hit his left arm, knocking it aside too. As he staggered back, her leg came up, and Varen's eyes bulged as her foot slammed into his chest. I deadass thought she was going to kick him in the balls, and I would have been very much on board with that.
My balls!
I would have 100%, man. Get him.
Get his ass.
The kick sent him flying, and his body crunched as it hit the floor and slid out of the ring, instantly eliminating him. The hall was utterly silent. Mock me again, she spat at Varen, and I'll do that with my sword the next time. She turned from him and found Brullo's face slack. Here's the lesson for you, weapons master, she said, stalking past him. Give me real men to fight, then maybe I'll bother trying. She strode away, past the grinning Nox, and stopped before Cain. She stared up at his face, a face that might have been handsome had he not been a bastard, and smiled with sweet venom. Here I am, she said, squaring her shoulders. Just a little lapdog. Cain's black eyes gleamed. All I hear is yapping. Ooh. Her hand itched toward her sword, but she kept it at her side. Let's see if you still hear yapping when I win this competition. Before he could say more, she stalked to the water table. Only Nox dared speak to her after that. Surprisingly, Kaol didn't reprimand her either. Why would he? It's time to start showing off. And also, Nox is still my favorite one.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he should win.
I think Nox should win, yeah. Nox is fun. Nox is like, why don't we have more scenes with Nox?
We want more Nox.
Time skip Tildy.
Ooh.
When she was safely back in her rooms after the test, Alcestis watched the snowflakes drift from the hills beyond Rifthold. They swept toward her, harbingers of the storm that was to come. The late afternoon sun, trapped beneath a wall of pewter, stained the clouds a yellowish gray, making the sky unusually bright. It felt
Piss clouds.
Piss
God.
clouds. It felt surreal, as if the horizon had disappeared beyond the hills. She was stranded in a world of glass. I really can't imagine what I'm looking at here.
See, okay, my thought is that, like, okay, so it snows here. So that the glass parts of the castle must get fucking freezing in the winter time.
I'm just like,
How do fireplaces work in a glass castle? You wonder.
tempered glass? It must be? I don't know.
I don't know if they have tempered glass in this. When I go back into my glass rants, I don't think tempered glass exists just yet.
Whatever, magic.
Fuck it, magic.
How does Nicholas have a fully functioning kitchen and oven living in an ice palace? Magic.
But literally magic is a part of that, whereas magic is supposed to have, like, been stamped out.
True.
So, if they used magic to make the castle, I feel like they would have torn down the castle.
Well, I have a spoiler for that.
Well. I'm sure the castle will be destroyed because she hates it so much. Like, but still.
For those of you that obviously can't see me, I just tapped my nose.
Yeah, like
Book 4.
Book 4. Burger King foot lettuce. Burger King glass castle.
The last thing you want to do if you're a king is build your castle out of glass.
But that's just what this king did.
Okay, moving on. Okay, but also, maybe it's just my lack of experience with snow clouds, but I feel like a yellow tint is really weird. Maybe just because I associate, like, if the clouds have a warmish tint to them, like yellow or like a yellow-green, usually that means thunder.
Yeah, it means a storm cloud.
Like, I don't usually with snow on that one. Like,
Was
and we've had a blizzard here,
yeah,
and it was just kind of like
it was gray.
it was
They're just
very gray.
gray clouds.
It's very gray and very quiet because the snow dampens sound.
yeah.
So it just got really dark, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't tinted any particular.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, because like yellow/green clouds, they tend to be
thunder
thunder.
clouds.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I'm being pedantic. I'll move on.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Elisicles left the window, but stopped before the tapestry and its depiction of Queen Elena. She had often wished for adventure, for old spells and wicked kings. When? Fucking when?
We bring this up now.
That is always the world that she has lived in. She has never not had
Never
that.
not known this.
But she hadn't realized it would be like this, a fight for her freedom. How? When? Why?
What, did you think you would be on the side of the Wicked King? Girl?
And
What?
and she'd always imagined that there'd be someone to help her, a loyal friend or a one-armed soldier or something.
You literally have a prince and a soldier on the head of the royal guard, like, on your side, more or less.
And
also,
Nehemia.
yeah, and also a princess from another country. Like, shut the fuck up.
And Nox.
Yeah, and Nox.
Nox has been nothing if not a loyal friend so far.
You've got a whole ass D&D party on your side. Shut the hell up.
She wants a Fire Emblem retainer.
No.
She hadn't imagined.
You are the retainer, bitch.
She hadn't imagined she would be so alone. When?
Shut
Where?
your goddamn mouth up.
Oh, you have a ghost queen also. Just-
Yeah, you have a ghost giving you a fucking spiritual quest or whatever the shit. I hate you.
She wished Sam were here with her. Wow, Sam mentioned.
Sam mentioned, second time.
Oh, what fell? Oh, my phone fell out of my pocket. Sorry about that. I leaned back too far and it fell out.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking Sam.
Sam mentioned. Blah, 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 blah. It's the
You know-
second time in this book. Well, how many pages are we in?
This might be the third time, actually.
No, the first time was when she was arguing, or had that whole thing where she's like, Sam is dead. And then this is like the second time.
Whatever.
And we're page 218.
Yeah.
Second time and over 200 pages. Cool. Very impactful character.
He'd always known what to do, always had her back, whether she wanted him to or not. She would give anything in the world to have him still with her. And I guess this is another one of those, like, Assassin's Blade characters. You gotta get the DLC to unlock the backstory on this one.
Oh, okay, so that's where you actually read about Sam.
I guess. Her eyes burned, and Elisicles put a hand to the amulet. The metal was warm beneath her fingers, comforting somehow. She took a step back from the tapestry to better study the entire scope of it. In the center stood a stag, magnificent and virile.
Girl, don't talk about me like that.
Girl, what? Does he just...
You
He
just
just
look,
got a huge ball and dick?
you look up and you see this deer's massive cock and balls. Is that how you know?
Gazing sideways at Elena, the symbol of the royal house of Terrasin, of the kingdom that Brannon, Elena's father, had founded. A reminder that though Elena had become Queen of Aderlin, she still belonged to Terrasin. Like Elisicles, no matter where Elena went, no matter how far, Terrasin would always own a part of her. Elisicles listened to the wind howl. With a sigh, she shook her head and turned away. Find the evil in the castle, but the only truly evil thing in this world is the man ruling it. And the guy scooping people's brains out, maybe.
Yeah, like, girl.
There's clearly some other evil shit going on. The king's not even here.
I'm sure that the king isn't the only evil guy in the universe.
POV skip tilde. Across the castle, Catherine Rompier, because I refuse to call her Caltaine still, clapped lightly as a troop of acrobats finished their tumbling. The performance had stopped at last. She didn't feel inclined to watch peasants bouncing about in bright colors for hours, but Queen Georgina enjoyed it and had invited her to sit beside the throne today. It was an honor, and had been arranged through Parrington.
Girl, what's your problem with entertainers? Like, I personally find acrobats highly fun to watch. I don't know what this bitch is on about.
I deeply respect the shape they have to stay in to do those things. Like, that's a lot of core strength. That's really cool.
Just acrobats in general, whatever they're doing. Very entertaining. Amazing. I love live performance.
Like, I regularly trip over my own 2 feet, so, acrobats are cool.
I'm sorry, but Catherine, once everything is on fucking YouTube and you're staring at your screen for hours on end, you'll come to respect the specialness of a live performance.
Live theater is so good.
It is.
Alright, anyway. Oh. Parrington wanted her. She knew it. Yes, was that not the entire point of the last time you appeared? We get it. He's down bad. We know. And if she pushed, she could easily get him to offer to make her his duchess. But duchess wasn't enough, not when Dorian was still unmarried. Her head had been pounding for the past week, and today it seemed to throb with the words, not enough, not enough, not enough. Even in her sleep, the pain seeped in, warping her dreams into nightmares so vivid she couldn't remember where she was when she awoke. How delightful, your majesty, Catherine, I broke my rule.
You broke your rule.
Said as the...
You will be sacrificed to the woods later.
So that's fine. As the acrobats gathered their things. Yes, they were rather exciting, weren't they? The queen's green eyes were bright, and she smiled at Catherine. Just then Catherine's head gave a bolt of pain so strong she clenched her fists, hiding them in the folds of her tangerine-colored gown. I do wish Prince Dorian could have seen them.
Ooh, she's got an orange dress on. That's fun.
That's a cool color.
Sorry, I just really enjoy when, like, because we've agreed that this is, like, vaguely Victorian era, right?
Yeah, like, most people seem to agree that the fashions and aesthetics are, like, 1800s Victorian.
Okay. So, like, the Victorian era had a lot of crazy colors for, like, clothes. And it's just very exciting that, like, even the colors that we've kind of ragged on Selena wearing, I could definitely see happening in the Victorian era. It just really wouldn't look good on her. But I always get very excited when we have, like, oh, this is the color that we don't usually wear nowadays, unless, like, we're trying to make a statement about something.
Yeah, like, it's something you'd only wear in autumn.
Yeah.
But, like, I just feel like orange and, like, cream and those kind of colors are just sort of underutilized in these vaguely medieval worlds.
Well, yeah, because, like, people always think that it's all like, oh, yeah.
It's always deeply saturated jewel tones.
Yeah.
And it's like...
If anything. But it's all like, no, they were very much obsessed with color as we are. They liked their colorful clothes. And especially when you're rich, you have access to a lot of the, dyes and whatnot. So make them dress like they live in the capital in the Hunger Games.
It just should do it. Garish as fuck.
Garish. Absolutely garish. People literally poisoned themselves for color of green. Like, do it.
I do wish Prince Dorian could have seen them, Catherine got out. His Highness told me only yesterday how much he enjoyed coming here. The lie was easy enough, and it somehow made the pain of the headache ease. Dorian said that? Queen Georgina raised an auburn eyebrow. Does that surprise your majesty? The
Redhead confirmed.
The queen put a hand to her chest. I thought my son had a distaste for such things. Your majesty, she whispered, will you swear not to say a word? A word about what? The queen whispered back. Well, Prince Dorian told me something. What did he say? The queen touched Catherine's arm. He said that the reason he doesn't come to court so often is because he's rather shy. The queen withdrew, the light in her eyes fading. Oh, he's told me that 100 times. I was so hoping you'd tell me something interesting, Lady Catherine, like if he'd found a young woman he favors. Catherine's face warmed, and her head pounded mercilessly. She wished for her pipe, but hours remained of this court session, and it wouldn't be proper to leave until Georgina departed.
Oh my god, girl wants to leave so she can go get high.
And that seems to be her main source of pain relief at the moment, or either that or the headache is because she's jonesing.
Is it opiates? Probably opiates,
so.
Yeah. But yeah, she's just all like, damn, I'm tired. I want to go get high somewhere. Can we wrap this up? Anyway.
I heard, said the queen under her breath, that there's a young lady, but no one knows who, or at least when they hear her name, it's nothing familiar. Do you know her? No, your majesty. Catherine fought to keep the frustration from her face. What a pity. I had hoped that you of all people would know. You're such a clever girl, Catherine. Thank you, your majesty. You're too kind. Nonsense. I'm an excellent judge of character. I knew how extraordinary you were the moment you entered the court. Only you are suitable for a man of Parrington's prowess. What a pity you didn't meet my Dorian first. Not enough, the Pain sang. This was her time. Even if I had, Catherine chuckled, your majesty surely would not have approved. I am far too lowly for the attention of your son. Your beauty and wealth compensate for it. Thank you, your majesty. Catherine's heart pounded quickly. If the queen approved of her, Catherine could scarcely think as the queen nestled into her throne, then clapped her hands twice. The music began. Catherine didn't hear it. Parrington had given her the shoes. Now was her time to dance. Once again, I just find any other plotline so much more interesting.
Yeah, like Catherine's whole deal with trying to maneuver her way through the nobility court,
whatever,
nobility, is way more interesting than whatever the fuck Selena's doing.
Selena's complaining about being alone, and I'm like, once again, it's just the YA obsession with girl hate, where Selena and Caltaine could be really interesting foils to one another.
Yeah.
If they were allowed to be.
We need an Elphaba and Glinda situation.
Because, and also just knowing from TV tropes and spoilers what happens to her later, it just seems really fucking unfair and mean-spirited to write her this way.
I'm sure that
things do not go well for Caltaine.
I imagine not, because she's the typical girl who likes girly things and shit. She's all the other girls, and I'm just like, I hate it.
Even though Selena is also into things like fashion and
yeah, but she's different because she wears pants and she eats food. It's like, that's it. That's all it is she wears pants and she eats food.
Meanwhile,
unlike all those other girls who only live on opiates and salad.
Meanwhile, Caltaine's out here seducing men and smoking crack.
Super crack.
Super crack. She will explode. The headache is her getting ready to explode.
But I maybe it's because one of my stories that I want to write involves like a girl who's quite similar to Caltaine in the way that she's very aware of class, and she is kind of actively moving herself up her caste system in order to obtain more power by use of her feminine wiles. So I'm just over here like, yeah, girl, get your bag.
Anyway, that's gonna be it for now. Like I said, it was a short chapter. I think maybe a quarter of this video is actually us reading it.
Hey, don't worry about it. It's
whatever.
Fine. They come for a lot of things.
All right.
Isn't that right, our lovely viewers?
And yes, and if you want us to be able to continue making videos like this, please do become supporters, either by subscribing and liking the video. I am so close now to 1,000. I just passed 900.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, like, my goal is never to, like, be a YouTuber. I don't care about making a living wage off of my YouTube videos. But gosh, it sure would be nice to be able to, like, go out to dinner once every couple of months off of the ad revenue.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they're putting ads over my videos anyway, so at least I could make some money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so if you're so inclined, or you could just, leave a comment. Tell us if anything made you giggle, or if you have any story ideas of your own. I love hearing about your guys' story ideas. And we'll catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or in the description below, please consider joining my Patreon. Your support means so much to me and allows me to continue making content. If you want to support my content in different ways, consider buying my books, donating on Ko-fi, subscribing to the channel, or even just giving this video a like and comment. Any and everything is appreciated so much. Keep growing till next time, Rose Garden!